Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Firestorm Reviews. And before we get into this video, I just would like to say we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll be doing a special video where I will be either telling you the backstory of Firestorm here, or I'll be doing a Q&A, whatever you guys decide. Anyway, let's get on to the video for today. Alright, so in today's video, since the new G1 Studio Series Devastator figures were revealed, I thought we might as well go back and do a review of the Revenge of the Fallen Studio Series figures. Since I'm doing all of them in one video, instead of spreading them out like I did with the Stunticons through multiple videos, I'll be splitting these into segments, and here how the segments will work. The first segment will be on the ARM members of the team, which will be Scrap Metal, Hightower, and Scrapper. Next segment will be, this segment will be the legs, which will be Rampage, Skipjack, and Longhaul. And the next segment will be, part will be the torso and the head of the combiner, being Mixmaster, Longhaul, and Scavenger. Alright, now let's move on to our first segment, being the arms. Alright, the first member we'll be looking at will be Scrap Metal, and he was also the first member of the team I ever got, and is one of my favorite combiners. In my opinion, he's the best combiner limb in the world. Yeah. He looks very inaccurate to what he looked like in the movie. Because, well, in the movie, they use his buddy Scrapper's here model for the torso, for the design. But this is really good, very accurate to the old Revenge of the Fallen concept art we were able to find. And, yeah, sure, he has a bit of a backpack, but it's not too intrusive, and it's better than the Earthrise RC mold, which has the world's worst backpack. Articulation is very simple. Ball joint at the head, ball joint at the arms. Can do this with his transformation, and technically you could count having a butterfly joint if you partially untransform him. Bend at the elbow here, another bend here, and I'm just going to remove this part, which is technically faux parts, but I'm not too big of a deal there, okay? You can have his hands open and close. No waist rotation. He has ball joints at the legs, and he's an alright knee posability and foot posability. Alright. Let's put his armor plate back on if I can stop dropping it. Alright. Yeah. We'll just put him off in the back here, and now we'll move on to the leader of the Constructicons, Scrapper. Which, I never understood why he was the leader. Even in G1 I was always confused. He either forms an arm or a leg depending on the universe of the team. And he always is the leader. Wouldn't like Mixmaster in the movies be the leader, or I believe it was Hook in the G1 show that was the head? Shouldn't he be the leader of the team? Anyway, let me just get this guy into robot mode, and then I'll discuss that. And then we'll do each of their transformations separately. Alright, here we have the mighty leader of the Constructicons in robot mode. And don't worry, we'll be going back to his vehicle mode for the transformation scene, and also how to combine them. And besides that, he's a very decent figure, one of the best ones to be made, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Hasbro re-release him in the Studio Series line as Dark of the Moon Scrapper, because canonically, he survived Revenge of the Fallen. And I'm pretty sure maybe Scrap Metal might have survived, because yes, we see him get ripped apart by other Decepticons to rebirth Megatron, but We also see him later on alive in the movie to form Devastator. So there's a possible chance that he survived as well. And yeah, he looks very cool. He has his Wrecking Claw hand thing. I will say, besides Hightower and maybe Long Haul Overload or whatever the red dump truck's name is, and I say he probably has the worst arms of the team. Because, well, they don't really work too well, but it's alright. I know they probably had budgets to consist of. And his backpack is very decent, gives him a bit of a hunchback look. I'm just going to raise the camera up a bit for you guys. And yeah, his posability is standard. He has ball joint at the neck, and because of parts of his transformation here, you can kind of give him neck articulation. Ball joint at the heads, rotation at the arms, can't go full 360 because of parts and colliding. He has like a triple bend at the elbow, I believe. Mushroom peg arm rotation. Technically, you can count this as hand posability because of part of his transformation. His other hand, the same all up to here, where you have a mushroom peg rotation. Hand can flip back and forth, so it can be slapping someone. And you can technically count this as a pincer thing, that you can move like that. No, well, he has a bit of a race rotation, but that's because of whatever this joint at his crotches. Standard leg articulation. Oh, sorry. Standard leg articulation, guys. Can go back that far and out that far. He looks like he's in incredible amounts of pain. I am, please stop. This is as best of a splits he can do. Bend at the knee and rotation at the knee. And no foot articulation. And yeah. Oh, and another issue I've had with mine is that this part here, his cab, sometimes untabs for me. Even though the connection is strong, it just comes undone for some reason. And also, this weird grey part here, I still don't know what it's meant to do. Well, anyway, that's been Scrapper, one of the best names for a character. And now let's move on to Hightower. We have Hightower, the second member of the team to be released, and probably the worst member of the team. I'm not going to say that all the others are bad because of this guy, but he is definitely the one dragging the teams down in the way of cool factor. I understand it was kind of tricky for them to come off of robot mode for this guy since, well, I don't remember ever seeing concept art of him. Only ever in vehicle mode. This T-Rex design does look alright. I'm always fine for like an animalistic like robot modes that give you vibes of a animal or something. But he basically looks like that one fusion that Jawbreaker and Aftermath made in the show Earthspark. But besides that, he's decently alright. He has his crane, which tragically cannot work as a real crane. Because he's the worst figure ever. He should be destroyed. Nobody should ever buy him. Just kidding. It's alright. Decent crane thing. Even I'm pretty sure this is the attachment Scrap Metal had in the movie, not him. Anyway, onto posability. Like I said, crane can do this. Head is on a ball joint, but it doesn't get much rotation. Neck rotation here. Oh, and also another thing. My one has pretty bad QC, so this falls off a lot. Secondary neck rotation. Tiny little T-Rex arms. And whatever this whole piece is for his legs. He gets leg rotations, waist, elbow spin, knee spin, bend at the knee, pivots. Yeah, whatever those joints are called, he has all that. He also is stuck with the combiner peg at his butt. Something I didn't mention Scrapper, because his is actually hidden a bit better, unlike his, which is just stuffed there at the back. Anyway, now let's move on to section 2, being the leg teammates. Before we move on, I just remembered we forgot to do their transformations. So first we'll start with the best combiner figure ever, and who also, a quick spoiler for if we do the Firestorm backstory thing, this guy has a bit of importance relevance to Firestorm's lore. So yeah, first part of his transformation, you want to remove this, just put it down to the side here, close up his hands, fold them back in on themselves like this. Then you want to take this arm here, straighten it out, rotate, and then bend at the elbow again. This arm here, you want to rotate it 360 degrees and then bend it all the way back. Then to his legs, you want to stretch them straight out, which also, I gotta say, is a bit of a cursed look, seeing scrap metal with straight human knees. Then you want to untab his waist here. And then you come back to the shoulder piece here, untab them, but don't fold them back all the way just yet. And then untab his head and torso, fold his head back in, fold it back up. And now we go back to the crane part here, fold this out. And then you want to now finally push those all the way up. And then you push these down like so, making sure to clear enough space with this arm so you can attach the tabs there to keep that in place. And even though this is meant to be done at the end, I'll do it now. You take this piece from before and tab it into the top here. Then you rotate the legs around. And then fold up his feet. And then, well, don't fold all the way back. You then just fold the legs up and tab them in like so. I will also say this. I'm not sure if this was a far wide issue, but a couple of people I spoke to, scrap metals, legs all came out like this. One being like perfectly flush and the other one being a bit bent. Yeah, we have him in his construction vehicle. My one, from years of being played with and also just being in combined mode, has become loose. That's a bit of trouble. Now let's go on to high tower. First you want to just move this up out of the way for clearance. Then you untab his buttocks, fold this back and this, get your finger in here and pull this up. It works as like a stopper for the crane arm. Then you fold his head inwards like so. Then you straighten out the legs. And just for clearance, move the arms forward a little bit. Then you rotate this. Rotate the peg in like so. Same on the other side. And it's a bit tricky to get it cleanly in. And then you want to first rotate the peg all the way up to the top. Then you partially untab the sides again just to get some clearance. And then push them back in to hold this in place. And now you come back to the legs. First we have girl walk mode, which is very dumb looking. So I won't continue with. And then you take the legs, fold them up like so. Straighten out the treads. And then just slide them forward like this. And then you take the two arms from before, fold them back down, and boom. Oh, and also straighten out the crane. And lower that down, and boom, you have him in his crane mode. Next, we now move on to Scrapper. Almost call him Scrap Metal. Why do so many of you guys have Scrap in your name? Okay, first you want to do is untab his torso here. Then you fold down his head until you hear a nice click. Then you fold this back up. And now you have the headless, horseless Scrapper. Alright. Then you want to go back to the arms here and untab them like so. That'll leave this free to move up and over. You also then want to move the combiner peg back a bit. And now we focus on the legs. just move the arms up and also untab this for just some clearance later on. Then you want to untap his feet like so. Then you take the wheel, fold it outward, then slide this by, close that up, rotate the bucket, and then rotate the scoop again. And then for some reason you're not going to say to re-rotate this again. I've never understood that thing. Why not just leave it the way it is for that? I'm assuming it's maybe for clearance, and then you just leave that like there. And we do the same on the other side. And before we go any further, we come back to the arms here. We fold them in like this. Rotate the arm pieces, which can be a bit tricky for the jamming and movement you have to make. There, I think, I'm not sure if that came over well on camera because this is the trickier parts to transform. You also tab these in to make sure it's a little cautious thing that this can start showing stress marks over time, so keep an eye on it. Then you take the shovel, fold it up like so, untab the other part of it, and rotate these down. And then you come back to the legs, finish off the tabbing them into here. And now you focus on the bucket where these all combine. And there, you have all the arms in their vehicle modes. I will do all the side comparisons all at the end of the video before we move on to their combined form. Anyway, now let's move on to the legs. Alright, now that we have the leg members of the team, we'll be starting from my favorite member, going down to my least favorite. So, come here, Skipjack. And you two, you can just sit on the sidelines for now. So, yeah. Why is Skipjack here my favorite out of the leg teams? Well, for one, he had an awesome fight scene with Bumblebee. And yes, I know the box says Rampage and the other one's Skipjack. But for me, I've always seen the red one as Skipjack from toys and people saying that who he was in the movie. So, in my eyes, he is Skipjack. The other one is Rampage. So, yeah. These guys are quite simple, and I won't go over the transformation with both versions of the mold here. I'll just go over with Skipjack here. And I will have to say, these guys do have the worst posability out of the leg squad, but way better than I gotta say compared to Hightower. I also just now noticed that on the figure he has like these keep clear stickers on him. I never noticed them until just now, till the middle of recording this. Yeah, his posability is standard, ball joint at the head, rotation at the arm. Sadly, no bend at the elbows. He also has a rotation at the thingy here, shoulder, finger posability. I'm pretty sure he might have been my first ever figure with posable hands. Well, I mean like posable hands with posable fingers. And their classic whip weapon, which I will admit I wish was a little bit longer, but I understand for the price and also just need to actually transform. They couldn't. And now onto the most bizarre part of this guy's posability, his leg tail thingy. He can kick it out that far. It bends here for vehicle mode and combined mode. Rotation. And this here bends at the tip. And also, he also has probably some of the most bizarre vehicle kibble because it's all just laid out on the back here. But besides that, it's pretty good. And also, I gotta say this. My Skipjack here came without these parts here, so just surgically remove them from Skipjack from Rampage here. You two keep getting me confused with your names. Anyway, now that I've done this guy, let's move on to Longhaul. Longhaul, the big chunky dude of the team, and who has technically died the most out of the team, if you count just his CGI model being used for different characters, because he was Longhaul, Longhaul Clone 1, Dark of the Moon Longhaul, Garbage Bot, and Onslaught. Let me know in the comments if I missed any. And I'm honestly a bit angry at Hasbro with this guy with one thing. Hasbro, you gave us the other color variants for this guy, but not giving us Payload or whatever the white version of this guy was. So yeah, Hasbro, give us the other two recolors of the Constructicon team, and then you'll have me be pretty happy. Alright? Alright, you can get out of here. You're not needed until the next scene. Alright. Now that he's gone, let's move on to his posability. I will say he has a bit of an issue with posability because of all his junk in the trunk, which also, for some reason, comes on tab really easily. I will admit, this is like really accurate to the CGI model used in the movie. You have a ball joint head, but it's so stiff, you can only really get him looking up and down. Rotation at the arms. Shoulder pivot, shoulder rotation. Bend at the elbow. No hands. But he also has some missile launchers. He has a waist rotation. Kick at the knees. If you want to go far, you just need to transform him a bit into goodbye mode to get it out all the way. Bend at the knee. And a very strong pivot. And he can also kick out that far, so I'm pretty sure he does the best spreads out of the crew. One thing I will admit, I wish they gave him the swords that his original Revenge of the Fallen toy had. But I did find maybe a fan mode way to give him that. You just first transform his arms into vehicle mode, dump truck mode, and unfold that. And then you could technically count this as him having his swords, but I understand if that's pretty weak. It was just an attempt out of one day find out that he had actual other weapons besides 2 missiles, which I'm pretty sure he'll probably miss more times than not. And yeah, that's Onslaught. And now on to Rampage. And Rampage, same verse as the second verse, same as the first, with all my descriptions of him and his brother back there. But one thing I will have to say, this one suffered from worse QC issues than mine, with, well, this being super weak, mine's arms coming so stiff in the box they almost broke. And this problem I was able to fix a while ago, but these two came, not these two, what was it? Oh yeah, his head came missing in the box. It was in the box, it just wasn't on his head. So that was a pain to get on. And yeah, there was also some plastic stuck in him from the packaging. Anyway, let's move on to the transformations of these guys. Like I said with this guy before, I'll be only transforming this guy and editing this guy to be in vehicle mode once I'm done. Alright, let's get into the transformation with these guys. First thing you do is want to untab this stand here, which I gotta say, the Constructicons have a lot more parts for them than I thought the movie ones would. You also then just fold up this part of the stand here and chuck to the side again. Now you come back to him, you go to the back of his tail and fold it up into the cab of the vehicle. Then you want to straighten out his arms, so he's doing a T-pose. Or Hey, stop ascended into a higher beam. Then you want to fold these parts down here. Then you take his fingers, rotate them all the way like so. Take this, slightly move it up till it tabs into that point there. Rotate him around. Take this hand here, rotate it all the way over here till it tabs in. Then you want to straighten out his arms like so. Lift this part up if you accidentally knocked it down. Rotate this here. And then slide that down until you hear a click. And do the same on the other side. And there. Then you want to take the top part of here and open up these little tabs. Rotate them down like so. And then you want to tab them into little slots here. This can be a little tricky, so it will take a bit of time. You also just want to push his head down a bit for a bit more clearance. Then you bring back the stand from before. Plug it into these slots here to like help give these a bit more spread. Take his tracks and fold them down like so. And then you see this part here, you just push it down and this here comes out. And just fold his hands down and boom, you have him in his digger form. Here's Rampage in vehicle mode. Pretty much just the exact same. Now let's move on to long haul here. First thing you want to do is take his missile launchers here, rotate them rotate them that many degrees, unfold these, and then push them up like so. I will admit to be careful because I've heard that some people's versions of these have broken over time, but mine haven't. Same on the other side. And then push them back down to be held in place. Then you come down to the feet, fold up his big toes, rotate these in, and then fold out his tires. I will also admit this. He's meant to have a second clip here that's meant to help hold this in place, but my one came defective and had a worn out peg already, so it was very it easily broke off on the first transfer. To just hold these in place, I would recommend transforming his back earlier than recommended. And there you have his front of the truck. Then you take his tires here, untab them and fold them forward so they're out of the road. Rotate his arms up like this, and then untab them from the shoulder and rotate them in like so. And a bit of fiddling is required. And then you want to take his shoulder blades again, untab them, rotate them back around. And just at this point also move up his tires to take up these pegs. And then push them inwards. And then insert the missiles into these little holes at the front here. Which is a bit tricky and would require a bit of fiddling. And once that's all done, just give a little squeeze to his sides here. And boom, you have him in his dump truck mode. And also, when will we ever get a Transformer dump truck that actually dumps instead of doing a wheelie? Yeah, these guys are all quite decent vehicles. Still wish we got Payload in a yellow the yellow dump truck known as Payload, because he is a part of Devastator, Hasbro. You gave us Rampage, so give us Payload. So yeah, let's now move on to the torsos. Alright, here we have the torsos and the head of the combiner team. And first, we'll be starting off with the head being Mixmaster, who I think should be the leader of the Bayverse Constructicons, but who cares? This Mixmaster suffers from the problems that a lot of fembots have, being backpack heavy on the back here. But because of his long arms here, it doesn't seem to really be an issue. I will admit, it does wear down the tolerance of his leg joints here, because my ones were always a bit loose. But they're still strong enough to hold up his weight. He looks very accurate to the movie, since we did see what his robot mode looked like, unlike a couple of these other guys. Maybe not you, since your twin clone transformed. He is stuck with the front of a mixing truck on the top. But besides that, he's really good. The posability is alright. He has a ball joint at the head, which allows her to fall, which technically means you can recreate his death at the hands of Jetfire, if his head will go back on. Got it. He technically has a butterfly joint here because of his vehicle mode, shoulder rotation, but arms can stretch out, and also technically another shoulder or elbow rotation, and his hands can go like this, like go, shucks. No waist rotation. He can kick out that far and back that far. Bend at the knee and a super deep foot bend. And whatever these things are at the front are on ball joints. And let me just... Another issue with him is that his head has the habit of sliding backwards. He also is decently well painted. His paint is known for chipping, like on his mixing truck where this part from Overload is meant to go. Anyway, now that we've done that, let's actually talk about Mr. Overload here. You can just sit there, Mixmaster. Overload. One of the members who has the most concept arts from what I can know of. There was one with him with 4 arms and crab legs, one with the one that we got here that is his now canon design, and one with just like 2 arms, crab legs, and a weird scorpion tail. And yeah, he's pretty decent. He's probably, in my opinion, the best out of the 2 leader classes. And his posability is alright. He has a ball joint at the head, a bit stiff so you can't really get much out of it. Rotation at the arms here and here for bending. Arms can move like this since he's the legs. They're very strong. Kick at the feet. Bend at the knee. And also the second best leg pivot out of the team. And yeah, a couple of his vehicle motors shoved onto his back, but not as much as Mixmaster, which is alright. Now if I can just slide him back here. Now we'll get Scavenger. Alright, Scavenger. The most bizarre robot modes I've seen for Transformers in all of Transformers. And I've seen Squeak's robot mode. Yeah, he's definitely a type. He's a unicycle bot. And he doesn't have much posability. This could technically count as a waist rotation if I'm not even sure if this is meant to be his head on his torso or not. His head just sits in the middle here. He has standard arm rotations. Arms can move like so. A very stiff shoulder rotation. Bends at the elbows. And bend at the hand. And technically hand posability because these can move out. He's definitely a bizarre looking one. has the least amount of vehicle kibble on the back, because I don't really think he even has a back. And I will admit, probably a good thing we never saw him in robot mode in the movie, because he would technically have been able to destroy all the Autobots. Because if they wanted this to be accurate size, I feel like we might have to get him as a Titan class figure. And the rest of Studio Series as a new size of Micromasters. From how big he was in the movie. Alright, now let's go on to the transformation, and we'll start with Mixmaster. Let's start with the transformation. First thing you want to do is take this black cylinder here and fold it up. And then you want to take the legs and pull them down like so, without also exploding the rest of his body, and tab them in. I would recommend folding his feet back partially at this point. Then you want to untab the entirety of the back. And then fold up, oh, probably get a bad angle, and then fold up the exhaust pipes here. And then you want to focus on this thing. First, you'll rotate that all around, and then rotate the forearm again. And this part here will be tricky, so I'll fold it, zoom in. We'll first fold up the wheels all together. Fold this up like so, clip it into the tab and clip there. Then you take this and fold it out like so. And boom. Oh, and then you also want to fold this up here. And now let's do it on this side. Straighten this out. Rotate this around. Spin this around. Lift up his cement things. Repeat like so. Fold this out. Rotate that. And then fold this out. And then you want to come back to his feet here, fold them all the way up, and then you just need to surgically slide them in between his feet, like so. And bada bim bada boom, you have him in his vehicle mode. Alright, now let's move on to the others. Now we go with overload here. First, you want, if you have this on hand, just put it off to the side. We'll come back to that later in vehicle mode. Okay, first you'll want to take this little black part here and also just spin him around. Fold that inward and untab it from the top here. Why is it being more stubborn than it normally is? Finally. And then we'll just leave that on the back there. We fold out his head and torso, rotate his arms upwards and into these tabs here. Wait, no, I did that wrong. We're meant to first take this gray tab, slip it up, and then fold his arms in. Then we take his claw hand here, rotate it like so. Fold it inwards and like that. Same on the other side. Fold this in. And rotate this around. And, oh, first fold this down. Rotate that around. Tab in. Fold this up like so. And now we take these, rotate them like this, and then fold them up like this. I don't know why, but it feels a bit tricky doing it on camera. Then you should have them looking like this. Then you want to come to the feet here, fold in his back spikes. Fold these little panels around, rotate his feet in like this, and then you want to first rotate his legs down a bit, unfold these until they fit in flush with this part here. So they're like that. Then you just tab his hood together. fold this down, rotate this along till it reaches the other side, and struggle with his thing a bit till you hear a click. And then fold down his side wheels here. And bada bim, bada boom, you have him in vehicle mode. Then you take this part of Devastator and then just tap it into the back here. And now I'll just park him off camera here since I don't have enough space. Now we're on to my least favorite member to transform into either mode. Alright. First we want to do is untab this and this. Rotate his wheel around. Then we want to move these all the way back to here. Then we take his wheels here, untab them, rotate them around all the way to the front here. And then you also have to like clear these out of the way here. Sorry if this is all a bit hard to follow. This is, guys, just a pain to transform. Then you tab them in the sockets there for us to line up, and also fighting to get them to actually move. And then you want to quickly track down some certain points, if I can find them. Where in Primus's name are they? They are. You then take this part here, untab it, and also probably spin the wheel around because of gravity I've moved. And then boom, you have those in place. Then you just fold out the main treads. And now onto the easy part of him. You take this, rotate it 360 degrees, fold it in, untab the arm from where it lays. Also fold this up to get clearance. Untab that, fold it around, arm out like that, and then same on the other side. But you also lift this up. Do the same here. Move, and then untab that, and then bite the other arm. Maybe I should have put this guy on my worst Studio Series list. Then you just tab the arms together. If the tabs agree with you. And then you fold his arms inward. And then just to clear these up. And boom, you have him in vehicle mode. Now let's move over to the size comparisons with these guys with other figures. Alright, here we have the arm group with some deluxes next to each other. Here we have them with some Voyager classes. And here they are next to a leader class figure. Here they are with Firestorm Squad. Alright, here we have the leg crew size comparisons with deluxe class figures, Voyager class, and a leader class figure. And here they are with the Firestorm Squad. Right, here we have the torsos compared with some deluxe class figures. Here they are with some Voyager class figures. And here they are with a leader class figure. And here they are with Firestorm Squad. Now let's get on to the combined forms. Alright. For their combined forms, you're going to need to have them all in vehicle mode. We will first start off with the legs, and then we will do the torsos, and then the arms. But before we go on, I will be stating that I'll be using Skipjack here as the leg. I will show what it looks like with Rampage as the leg once I've done the combining process. Alright, now let's move on to the first lot. Right, we start off with the legs here. First, we'll do Onslaught, since he's the easier of the two. First, you'll take his front of his truck mode here, push it forward to untap these. Then you untap his arms, pull out these parts here if they will let me. Aha! Tap his hands back in and also do the same on the other side, which is surprisingly easier than the other one. Then you want to line them up with the thing here, because you'll see here they have these little slit here. When you rotate around, you also see a little tab here on the front of the truck. You just want to line them up and boom. Then you want to flip him over onto his backside, push this down here. Then his tires get pushed down. It says in the instructions to rotate his head, but my one's head is too stiff to be done, so I'll leave it how it is. Then you untab the bottom of the truck. If it'll let me. You untab that from the top of the truck. You rotate these slightly, and then you push up his legs. Rotate those fully to the back, and there and fix up anything that came loose during that part. And there you have him, if these parts will listen to me. And there you have him in foot mode. Now let's move on to Skipjack here. First, you want to just slightly untab that, rotate it up, and then come to his undercarriage, open up his treads, remove this, chuck to the side for now. Then you want to take these tabs here, open them up, fold these up out of the road, and then spread out his arms for easier access. Then you want to take this, fold it down, take this, fold it down, spin him around, take this, fold it around like into robot mode, and then, you also just want to move that down just slightly. Then you take this, rotate this around. Before you go all the way, you push this back down, flip it around, and just slide that into connection. Then you fold everything back up, except for then you just fold all these back up into the way they are all originally. If this part will stop getting stuck. You also move this back down here. Move the arm out like that. And then you do the same on the other side. And then you want to take these parts here and tab them together. And you just want to fold these up again. Reattach his stand. And there. And then for here, you just fold in these clips, untab this, and just push it down like so. And you have him in leg mode. Alright, now let's move on to the torsos. Alright, for the torsos, first you're also going to need to grab scrap metal here and take this part off and put it off to the side along with this. And now we can begin. We'll start with overload here. First, you want to untab his hood, untab the cab, and slide it over to the center here. Then you will take his legs and just split them apart, raising these up as well. And then the legs, you will split them as well, rotate them like so. Like so. And then rotate these like that. Then you want to untab his claw hands here, or pincer hands. Rotate these forward. And then get these clips here, slide them inward. And then you take his claw hands and fold them in like that. And move this down. Let me just... What? I just moved the camera up so you guys can see this a bit better. And you should have him like this. For now, we're just going to put him off to the side. Oh wait, before we continue, you might want to spin him around and take this part here from scrap metal and tab it onto his knee. Alright, now put him to the side. And next we take Scrapper here. Whatever his name was, I forgot. You untab his arms. Fold them in like so. Rotate it on 9 degrees, I believe that is. Accidentally knocked stuff off camera. Rotate it around the same on the other arm. Then you fold them up like so. Rotate these around. And then you're gonna have to move very carefully with these because these can be quite annoying. You're gonna untab this, fold up his wheels, fold up his treads here, untab that, and then you're going to struggle to put them in like so, spin them around. But before we can do it, we'll come to here. And we'll want to have this tire facing the front, like this. Because that will slot in here with Overlord. Whatever your name is. Why do you, so many Transformers have to have similar names? And then we come back to here. Fold these down. This will cause some issues, so I'm just going to struggle a bit here on camera if you would like to watch me struggle. Actually, I'm just going to pause the recording and then show you everything once I've fixed it all up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I managed to get this all fixed up and got these tabbed together. Now you just want to take these here, connect them like so, move these down here so they're out of the way for a bit. Then you take his arms here, fold them over like so, so they're in arm position. And same as the second verse, and there. I won't be attaching him to that yet because first we need to do Mixmaster. And now let's get on to him. First, you will want to disattach his hood, which reveals Devastator's face. We'll put that off to the side with the neck thingy here. Next, you want to take this part of the dump mixer truck, untab it, fold this in, move it up forward. Next, you just want to quickly untab the legs from everything. Rotate them down like so. Unfold them. Then take the vehicle, the mixing truck parts, tab them all back together. But first, you want to untab these and rotate them out like this. And if these things keep coming undone, be very annoyed like I am right now. Why did Michael Bay have to make these designs so bizarre? Then you want to take the legs and connect them like this. And like this in some little slots here between the tires. Then to keep it even more reinforced, you take the hood of the truck and plop it back here. Which I'm pretty sure you can see it there in the movie. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. And now you come back to the front of the truck where you lift up the roof of it. Fold out these parts here. And my Devastator came a bit broken with the tabs not fully set in for this. So that will come off on mine. Then you unfold it like this. Fold these out. Fold that down. Fold that down. And if yours is like mine, press this back on and boom, you have his head. And then you take this and slit it onto the top there. Alright, and now for the combining process with these guys. This part is really annoying. You want to get Mixmaster to fit on this and these tabs back here. So you just need... And I'm just going to pause because it's going to be really annoying to do on camera. I'll show you what it's like after it's done. Okay? And once you've managed to get these tabbed in here, this may have come undone during the process. You now just take the torso here and the body of Overlord here. And first you want to just move his tires out of the way. And slide it. Dang it. And slide it on top like that. And then just fold up his parts around here to get everything to stay in place. And also, I forgot to do this, rotate his legs. I rotated them in the wrong direction. And there, we have over his Devastator in his torso mode. And now let's move on to the arms, and then we'll combine the rest of the figures. Alright, now we're up to the arms. First, let's do scrap metals, and then we'll do Hightower and Scavenger. First, with scrap metal, you want to untab his arms like so. Bring them up and around, and I forgot to put his head away for another sin. Then you rotate his arms out, fold out his fist, but don't take out the top part of them. And then you want to bring his bucket here out and around, but before you do that, you're gonna have to get this tab out here. And it can be a bit tricky, so I just got this to help me get it out. And there. Then you lower his arm down like so. Just straighten that out. And then you want to take his feet and treads and push them back up like this. And then you just want to untab his shoulders a little bit and just let them rest there. This may cause one of his treads to untab if it came like this. But that's alright. And now we have him in his hand mode. Yes, he forms the hand. And now we just put him off to the side here. Now we take out Hightower. First, we want to take his hook here. Untab it from there. Fold this back. Then we take out his head. Fold it out like this, and then we take the head point here, fold it inward. Then we bring back the claw and tab it into his neck here to make the thumb. Rotate this down. And it says in the instructions to move them like his legs, things like this, but it also says another way where they're meant to bend backwards, but they can't. So I'll just leave it how it is. Rotate this down here, just a little bit like that, and then you take scrap metal here, and just for a bit of clearance, you slot them into there. And there, you have the first hand completed, and arm. You put them off to the side here, and bring over Scrapper, where you want to untab his bucket, fold up this, and fold out like this. Rotate these 3/6 rotate these 90 degrees. And it says that to do it in, so depends on like how I've seen it done. You're meant to take his digger like this and somehow tab those in there, but it physically can't work, so I just keep it like this so it can actually properly work and transform. And yeah, you have him in his other hand mode. And now let's bring over all the limbs to make the final body. Alright, here we have everyone in their limb mode, and also here is Rampage as well if you want to see what that looks like. But yeah, anyway, first you're going to want to take the legs and the torso here and just spin the torso around, and you'll see two different types of ports. This port here is for long haul, and this one here is for skipjack. For skipjack, you just want to try to line it up the best you can and just slide him down. And there. And for long haul, it's the same, but since my one's a bit defect, came with a broken tab, you're going to have to give him a little squeeze to stop things from popping out. And there. And now we move on to the arms, but first let me just raise up the camera for you folks. Alright, here's the now you have a better view. You now take Scavenger here and connect them to this arm here. And you can also adjust it however you like. And now you take Scrap Metal and Hightower and attach them over on this side. And rotate them down like that. And there. You have Revenge of the Fallen Devastator complete in his combine mode. I know he has like a on all fours crawling mode like in the movie, but I don't know how to get him like that, so this is the best you'll get. And he has alright posability. He has the same posability in the arms as how Overload had in the legs. Rotation at the arms there. Each finger can move. And same with Scavenger's arms up here. And yeah, for my first ever complete combiner, I collected a couple but never completed them. He's really, really cool. And now let's do some size comparisons, shall we? Here's Devastator with my two other combiners I have. Here he is compared to some deluxe class figures. Here he is with some Voyager class figures. And here he is next to two Leader class figures. And here he is next to the Firestorm squad. And now for one last figure to compare him to. And here Devastator is compared to the Ark. Yeah, the Ark makes Devastator look pretty small, alright? Now let's get on to my final thoughts. I just forgot one thing before we move on to my final thoughts. I forgot to show you what he looks like with Rampage here as a leg. And here's what he looks like with Rampage as a leg. Nothing really changed besides him having a yellow foot. Anyway, now let's move on to my final thoughts. So, what are my thoughts on the Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Devastator? Well, I gotta say, he's a really good figure. Even all the other figures separate are alright. Sure, Scavenger and Hightower are the two weakest links of the team, and we're technically still missing members. But besides that, they did a great job with the figures and all that. Definitely deserves some more love and affection. And yeah, if I was to say who my favorite member of the team was, well, I gotta say I'd have to say it's this little piece of joy right here, Scrap Metal, who is, in my opinion, is one of the best figures that they made for this line. And yeah, those are my thoughts on the Studio Series Constructicons. Maybe if you guys like this video enough, and when I get the rest of the G1 crew, I might do a review on them. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me what you thought down in the comments below. And we're so close to 1,000 subscribers, so please keep subscribing. Bye bye.